All right. Well, welcome back, everybody, to Surviving Hollywood Podcast. We're here with one of the up-and-coming premier puppet comedians in Los Angeles, Adam Celentano. We know him as an actor, independent films.
But can you tell us apart? Because you already know my brother. Do you even remember my name?
Aaron.
Yeah, that's right.
Austin Aaron.
Yeah, that's right.
It's good. It's a good name.
Full disclosure, we've been talking for about 10 minutes and realized we weren't recording.
Johnny usually presses the button.
Well, let's blame it. Let's blame it all on. It's all Johnny. I don't know you, John.
He had to book something today.
Wait, well, good for John. But no, we were talking for a little bit and stuff. But it's nice to be.
I say we just start again.
Yeah, obviously we're starting again.
Adam, what's new, man?
Hey, yeah, what's going on, dude? I was doing a lot of stand-up and stuff in LA here.
This is really what I wanted to ask you. You said you did stand-up, and now you do stand-up.
Well, he's primarily an actor, he told us.
True. But is it harder to get booked like with a puppet, or is that easier?
Well, did you start off straight stand-up, then you realized, oh, Jeff Dunham, he makes it look easy?
No, not at all, actually. To be honest with you, I just wanted my dream. To be honest, my dream my whole life was to be a stand-up comic. I liked that idea.
Who do you like? Which comics?
Like Richard Pryor's big, Lenny Bruce. I'm kind of old school back.
Can you name somebody we know? Or?
I love and I mean the ultimate comic, as I'm sure all of us can agree, is Chappelle is fantastic, and he's just the man. He's awesome. Untouchable. And
the critics will try.
Yeah, they'll try their hardest, man. And I'm a huge Ricky Gervais guy.
Dude, he was so good at the Golden Globes.
Oh yeah, right? I was about to go in on that later, but yeah, no, Ricky and Henson are like big role models for me.
Jim Henson.
And so I was doing stand up, just trying material out. I don't know if it was great or not, but I realized that honestly, like there wasn't that many people going to the clubs, and not many people were making. I wasn't really getting anybody new in my mind, or seeing anybody that I thought, and this is no offense to anybody trying to do stand-up in LA. Nobody was catching my eye. And even myself, I was like, I don't know if this material is working, if this is really doing anything, if people like this.
At what clubs?
What'd you talk about?
I mean, that's... You gotta go see the shows.
I don't want to hear your
material.
Like generally, you talk about your life.
No, yeah,
women.
I thought... Actually, it was a lot of like kind of interesting facts I'd learned, but they were kind of weirdly comical or like sexual and stuff like that. I thought was very interesting. Like, for example, there's like a stork that travels thousands of miles to get laid, just thousands of miles, and I don't travel 5 minutes down the street for shit like that. It was like things like that via like your phone.
Austin, don't you have a joke?
I have this weird one sex fact. It's not a joke. It's more of a fun fact.
Great.
Did you know that every time pigeons have sex, the female pigeon dies? At least the one that I fucked did.
Oh yeah, you've told me that. I've heard that. You told me on set that.
He sees this guy twice a year, and this guy hears the joke twice a year.
Well, it's a great one. It's a fantastic joke. But no, it was just I was just trying some material out. A lot of stuff like just interesting, like funny little things like that, or some. I don't know if it was funny, but anywho, and then I had like this puppetry stuff in my back shelf, I was kind of like, and I just kind of went out one night. I was like, I'm going to try with the puppet. Maybe it'd be funny. I didn't want to do ventriloquism.
Sorry, you had a puppet?
Yeah. I
just sitting around.
Well, I bought a puppet because I was doing some puppetry stuff in Manhattan.
This was premeditated. This is...
Well, yeah, I know. I thought about this for a little bit. Because I just didn't know. I thought maybe it would be interesting. You know how like Fozzie on the Muppets, he's a comedian.
Yeah,
and I was like, funny. Well, yeah. And I was like, and he always kills. Whenever people have to follow him, they say when he like shows up, he does well.
Who says that? Kermit?
No, I think it may have been Bill Burr. I think I was listening to. He had to follow a puppet, or it may have been it maybe not have been Bill. Oh, Mike Birbiglia. Yeah. He was doing it. He had to follow Fozzie.
In where?
I don't know. He did a special. He talks about it in one of his comedy specials. He apparently followed Fozzie, but Fozzie killed. And I just thought, I had like this character I'd always been working on, and I wanted to go out and try it and see if the audience would like him. And that was a way to get it out there without...
Did he look like you? How did you decide the shape and...
Yeah, how did you...
I went through a couple puppets, and then...
Did you go to a puppet store? Or?
No, I ended up making my own puppets.
So you have to sew?
Well, somebody sews.
His girlfriend.
I have a girl.
So you design it, and then you tell somebody what you want.
Yeah, I designed the puppet, and this girl named Rachel Sandoval is really talented, and she's a designer.
And she's like, it cost this much. You're like, well, how about we just date?
Well, the thing is we ended up, she has a degree in fashion. So this girl, Rachel, she is a designer, and kind of together I would come up with these puppets, and so she put them together, helped put them all together, and yeah, that's how that came about. And now I ended up kind of landing on a puppet named Ziggy, who I do the act with.
And this puppet is white or black or...
You mean well, he has black fur, and so but if you mean like his attitude,
Living the dream.
No,
buddy.
I don't mean attitude. I meant race. What race is your puppet?
he's a monster.
Ah, all right.
He's a
That's
monster.
safe.
He doesn't have a race. He's got no race attached to him.
And later in this episode, we are going to meet Ziggy. But I really want to know, because this is called Surviving Hollywood.
Yeah.
How the hell are you surviving?
No. What don't people know about being a puppet comedian? Like, what if somebody wanted to get into it? What's
the hardest part? Like, what? Yeah, what do you? Everybody thinks. I mean, I have some questions for you specifically about your influences in a second, but yeah, let's.
It's just like, what do I do? How do you convince flappers to let you bring a puppet on?
I don't think really they have any. Like when you show up with that, it's more surprising. They're more they're confused,
come on
or yeah. It's more like, this is interesting, and nobody else is doing this right now. So when I show up to like the Hollywood Hotel, when I brought like the puppet there,
For a reason.
yeah,
Nobody's doing this for a reason.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're very kind of confused by it. They don't understand what's going on, what you're doing, and it's so they seem to be really drawn to it most of the time.
I'm intrigued.
People seem to like the puppet, but also I've done stand up as well with they didn't get it, because like you said, they want you to be like Jeff Dunham or somebody else who do the ventriloquist thing, which I don't do.
Your mouth just moves.
My mouth moves with the puppet, but you have to.
Right.
Yeah.
They're in it for the comedy, not the.
Yeah, it's for
this
you-
isn't drama.
So why even use the puppet?
Well, that's the thing is like that's why I was fighting with myself for a long time if I wanted to do the stand up or the puppet did, and I ended up realizing I just find the puppet more interesting than myself.
Because really, this is what I said when we thought we were recording earlier, that episode of Everybody Loves Raymond, where his brother, Robert Barone, takes out the puppet and then says what he really thinks to the family through the puppet, and it's awkward and funny. That's basically what you're doing.
Yeah, and it's great.
Except they see your mouth moving.
Yeah, so it's like half the time people they pay more attention to the puppet than me. I would
honestly say in 2020, people know that you're talking. They don't care if your mouth moves. It's
Yeah,
like, we don't need that anymore.
But your puppet is more offensive than you, obviously.
Yeah,
You're the nice guy, right? That's how they...
Most time, I mean, I think I don't know. I mean, like my daily life, maybe not, but I mean, I've tried to be. But the puppet, yeah, he's a little more foul than me.
Has anybody ever reviewed your show that we can look up?
No, I don't know. I've only done it around like the comedy clubs in LA, so I don't know if anybody would know me or anything.
Yeah, you don't get people review.
Adam Celentano.
There it is.
Celentano.
He called me a fat Jew through his... I'm just kidding.
They weren't supposed to be phones at that show. I was Pete Davidson. It was all signed these.
You did it with Pete
agreements.
Davidson?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, no, I did not.
Oh.
But you're saying Pete Davidson makes them get their phones away.
Yeah.
So does Chappelle.
Apparently for 100. Well, yeah. I don't know if Pete is on the same level of Chappelle, though.
I think they're in a similar but different.
Definitely. If they're on the same level, they're still on opposite sides of the
Ziggy
level.
can say more about Pete Davidson. I'll let him talk about it.
Adam,
Exactly. I'm asking him the information. He's like, oh, let me. My puppet's gonna like lay it out, no filter.
Well, before we get to the puppet,
Yeah.
We got time.
Who's got more time than
I want
us?
to ask him all about Jeff Dunham, but I don't know if we should get to that early on.
What do you mean?
I'm curious. Did you want to have it?
I would love to just take a beat,
All right.
look into each other's eyes. Adam, appreciate you being here, man.
Thanks for having me.
You just and I do want to find out about the puppet. Obviously, you're an actor too. You just got a new manager or agent?
I have a meeting with one. On,
You have a meeting
on Sunday. Yeah. Well, I was with this agent and this
Sunday
agency,
meeting.
and my manager left. I got something happened where they were not there anymore, and so I didn't know if I was with the agency anymore.
Isn't that the worst when you're just like your manager just up and leaves town and doesn't?
And you're stuck in limbo, and you don't know if a job's coming in.
Yet their car is still in the office.
If I gotta
lot.
go get a normal job.
It's like you send them, hey, I sent you, I texted you and I sent you a Facebook message and it says you read it, but you didn't get back to me, or should I?
Well, it's clear why you are.
Yeah.
Are you guys having
Needy.
some trouble with your?
Aaron was doing a bit,
Yeah,
being a
I'm sure.
needy girlfriend.
I could always be doing better, but we're not having no trouble.
Well, no, I have a meeting because I'm just going to see if I'm still with the agency. So
Who's
Hell
your
of a
agent?
meeting.
Oh, I thought this was the new person.
it is. So I'm meeting with them on Sunday to discuss
But it's new management.
moving ahead.
To see if you're still with them.
I guess so, yeah, because I signed the contract, but then since the person left that I was with through the agency,
They hip pocketed.
Obviously, they're going to ask you to bring out the puppet.
I'm sure I'm going to bring him with me.
Do you mention that puppet?
Yeah.
Siggy.
But
Yeah,
even
I do
you-
now.
But
Yeah.
like, I don't know. Austin told me everything generally about you, like who you are and stuff before you got here. But as soon as you said this guy's a puppeteer, that's immediately what I thought of you as. Are you worried about these agents will only think of you as a puppeteer?
If they want to, then they can. But I think, though, I look at it this way. Look at like Frank Oz and stuff like that.
Dude, this guy.
He does a lot of different parts. He's been in a lot of amazing projects too. And the puppetry got him there. He got to be Yoda. He got to do all these amazing things. And also he had a part in the Blues Brothers for a brief minute. He got to do these amazing projects. And Henson too got to be, and also, I don't think of myself as just like a puppeteer. No, the character of Siggy that I play he's a part.
And
He's a
Carol Spinney and Richard Hunt and Burr Tillstrom and Jane Henson. I've looked up all the famous guys before.
all the really well-known names.
Is there this thing in the puppeteering community that you guys hate CGI?
I don't
Because
at all.
Yoda is now CGI'd.
Ah, that's true.
Well, but Baby Yoda is
So cute.
a puppet. It
looks like animatronic.
Animatronics. Yeah. Well, that's just the advanced form of puppetry.
There's room for everybody.
Yeah, but also it's just I would love to that type like the Mandalorian and all they're doing over there with that animatronic and tech. That's awesome. That would be really cool to move forward to also add into like the puppetry stuff. Like I'm starting to learn how to do like eye mechanics on puppets as well, like how to get either eye moves, to get their control, or I could give it to somebody else so they control the eyes while you hold it, or just simple things like blinking. Those are just tricks that are so simple to do to your puppet. Like there's a wire inside you can attach to your string and you pull it and that helps the blinks and it just makes the puppet more realistic.
I would think you need a third hand to like.
Well, yeah. Well, some puppets, yeah, you do. You need like two people to control it at all times, like Ernie and stuff like that, and from Sesame Street and Cookie Monster. Those are obviously three-handed people doing that puppet and stuff. So yeah, that's interesting as well. I think at least. But yeah, the Mandalorian and all that tech over there. That would be the shit to be on right now.
How do you know when to not confront, but talk to your agent or manager about how many weeks do you go? Because primarily our audience is up and comers. Like, how long do you go? I think this is a universal problem. If you're not really feel that you're needed or getting care of.
Work?
Yeah. How long do you wait?
How long do you stay with the agency?
Yeah. How long do you wait before talking to them? What was your process?
Well, I was with an agent who wasn't really doing too much, and then I've been to like multiple agents now. I think I've had like 3. I'm not gonna name like names. I don't want to throw anybody around.
That's fair.
But yeah, you just hope, and then sometimes they have clients that are doing better, so you don't get submitted.
They're doing better because you're submitting them more.
Yeah, well, you got to ride them, man. But no. I mean, most times it's up to them. And since, unless you have big credit to your name or something like that, it's very hard. I'm sure you guys know.
I think everybody feels like, I wish I would just get submitted more. Like, if you go 1 audition a week, you want 2
Or for
3.
better stuff.
Well, it was cool. There was a little bit of time where I'm not going to say what, but I was able to like see like kind of the other side of the submissions and stuff. And so I saw all this cool stuff that I was getting submitted for. But you don't know if you're going to ever, of course, hear from any of that stuff. But there was cool projects like Marvel projects.
You got the illegal breakdown, or you asked for your breakdown?
No, I was seeing. I just was able to see what I was getting submitted for.
Because
you can ask your agent.
Yeah.
People don't know this. What's it called? Submission report.
Yeah, and so you got to check. I was seeing on the other end, and it's actually disappointing how much stuff you get submitted for. Just of course, you're back.
I asked for a submission report for me a long time ago, and I was like, they are submitting me for great stuff, but I'm just not getting the audition.
Well, you guys are good-looking guys. I'm sure you'll book something.
Dude, Adam, go on.
Thanks.
Well, hey, I saw a couple of your things, and I thought I'd come on here and see if I could have you touch my puppet.
Hey.
Speaking of puppets, I want to talk to you about Jeff Dunham. Because
Okay.
when you think of the most famous stand-up puppeteer, who do you think of?
I don't think of Jeff.
Oh,
I
stand-up.
I'm
For stand-up.
saying
Well, I know.
stand-up.
I get
Who
it.
do you think of then?
No, Jeff is great. I think he's good.
Okay, who do you think of?
No, I guess it would be him. It would,
Jim
if
Henson
you really
is not
think
a
about
comedian.
it.
Yeah, I'm talking
No.
about stand-up puppeteers.
Well, I think of just Fozzie Bear when I think of stand-up
Okay.
puppet, like because he actually does go out and do things at certain conventions and appearances. And stuff,
You are.
so-
This
hard to
guy's
follow.
pure. This guy is pure in his puppeteering.
Well,
he does not acknowledge the hand.
No, it's the thing is that I think ventriloquism is it's kind of slightly different. I mean, there's obviously the puppetry thing in it, but it's different than what I'm doing. I don't know how to do that voice.
It's just when you think
throwing.
well, is there, besides Fozzie Bear, is there any other stand-up puppeteers besides Jeff Dunham?
I don't think. I mean, there might be, but I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't.
None is
I mean,
famous. None is-
I can't think of one. I'm asking the expert.
Well, I'm trying to. That's what I'm trying to do here, man. I think it'd be really cool to have, and also it's just because I think the character of Ziggy that I have and the puppets, they're fun and people they're good characters. So I think people would like them.
So, Austin and I grew up watching Jeff Dunham.
Comedy Central.
Comedy Central. You too?
Yeah, yeah.
I think I first heard about him. It was definitely after 2001 because it was after 9/11 where he brought out the one puppet.
Ahmed, right?
Ahmed.
the dead terrorist. Which looking at it now, I don't know if he uses that puppet
Thank
as much
you.
anymore.
That's an
I mean, maybe I don't know.
After 9/11, he brought out the stereotypical Middle Eastern guy.
The dead,
he had a
blown
catchphrase.
up himself.
I'll kill you. That was wasn't that his catchphrase or something?
think so.
I'll blow you up. Or
I'm
something.
sorry, our country needed some relief.
But and that was fine. It was like we used to laugh at that, but now 15 years later, he's
I
still
think-
doing that character.
Is he? I mean, I haven't.
Dude, he's still doing Jose the Pepper. He does is the stereotypical. He's the stereotypical Mexican.
They're still good characters.
So you think the
They're still good
stereotypical
characters.
Middle Eastern guy and the stereotypical lazy Mexican Pepper?
Pepper.
You think those are? I look at Jeff Dunham now and I think, God damn, he is scraping the bottom of the barrel, the lowest common
But you know what?
denominator. And I'm a huge fan of stand-up.
The only thing that's changed is you, because you used to laugh at those.
I think I've evolved.
Evolved or
Liberal LA changed. you.
yeah,
Like, is-
or I don't know. No, it's a good question to ask. But
But is Jeff Dunham funny? I question it, man.
I haven't watched enough of his recent material to
Yeah,
be able to
right.
judge. No, seriously, I don't. I try not to actually with him. I think
He's definitely
I think there's
funny.
already such a connection to doing the puppetry thing that I try actually to avoid.
Jeff,
watching
I'm
myself.
insulted for you.
And
You're funny.
No offense, Jeff. Your puppets.
I haven't said anything bad about Jeff. All I've said is
posing the
My
question.
puppet is
puppets-
not a terrorist who's killed himself. That's
who kills infidels.
But you know what? Good for him. He got that character out there. He got a fan. That character has a fan base, which if you
That's
think
right.
about it, is probably even stranger. But
People want to see him.
But like the point is, the top of the top for comedian puppeteers is really the bottom of the barrel. So there's plenty of way. You can
I can float hopefully
you can
fast.
elevate the medium is what I'm saying.
Yeah, thanks. That's a big
by
thing
by
to
not
say.
doing stereotypes.
Yeah, by just being funny. I don't know.
Well, Ziggy, I think he's funny. I mean, I'm him, but I think he's pretty funny most of the time. I don't try to. Yeah, he doesn't have any like. If you're meaning, does he like try to touch on certain type of things?
I
No,
like
he's
a-
not really political. In any
I like
way either.
offensive humor. All I'm saying is love what Ricky Gervais does. I love what Dave Chappelle does. But like all I'm saying is
What did you guys think about Ricky's monologue? Since it's topical right now.
I loved it.
ever since he was announced as being the thing, I was like, yes, finally, he's the best one, the only one who sticks it
Fantastic.
to Hollywood.
Oh, he's so good. He's so good. And I know he said this is going to be his last time, and I'm very curious if it will be his last time. Or maybe I'm curious. I don't know if the Academy Awards. I don't know if they have a host right now. I'm curious if they'll ask him after this. Just because of the.
They definitely won't ask him.
You don't think so? Well, that would be.
Oh, they-
I was reading. These could have just been obviously online stuff, but I thought that somebody said like, well, I think he'd make a good host after that.
I agree, but I don't think
It'd be
that's
like
what
double
the-
dipping. It'd be like looked.
No, I think
Academy Awards
that was a good. I think Ricky, that was a great way to go out.
The
on.
American people loved it. Hollywood, I don't think liked it as much, and I don't think the Academy, who tries to be politically
I think
correct,
Hollywood, those people probably are doing well enough to. They don't have to like. It's not really for them. It
What's
was
a
for the
joke?
people at home.
What's a joke do you remember that you liked?
Oh, I adored when he said about Leonardo DiCaprio about.
Leo laughed.
Yeah, when Leo laughed, so that was good.
He's like, yeah,
He knows he likes him young.
Yeah.
He knows it's like he doesn't know he likes the 21-year-old on his yacht.
That was almost a compliment to Leo.
And if anything, it just reminds us that he still gets great, beautiful 21-year-old girls.
That's right.
My favorite was when he says he switches it up, or he tricks him and he goes, "Hey, isn't it great? Tim Cook is here. Apple making movies
Yeah.
now." And then it pans to Jennifer Aniston saying, "Oh my God, hey Tim Cook," because she made Tim Cook's
And
movie.
then
And then he rips them, and then I wish they would have panned back to Jennifer Aniston and Tim Cook, but they didn't do it.
Well,
Yeah,
my favorite part is right afterwards. He goes, 2 women from the telly. Just Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon. That's the first one like to come right out, and it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
man.
Some people saying, "Oh, he was offensive," but in my mind, comedians make
Better.
fun of people, so they're by definition going to be making fun of something.
I'm going to say
the best.
he wasn't offensive. Name one joke he said that was
I agree.
offensive.
It's more just brutally honest stuff than offensive stuff.
I guess if you're offended by Ricky Gervais calling out sweatshops, then yeah, that was really offensive.
Yeah, it's not offensive.
And
It's hilarious and well deserved.
Yeah.
Well deserved hosting job.
could any of jokes have been elevated with a puppet?
All of them. If Elmo said what he said, come on. Elmo says.
But on a serious question, yeah, he could get away with it. But
Harvey Weinstein.
before, is that Ziggy? Are we talking to Ziggy right now?
No, that was just Elmo. I don't know if that was Elmo enough.
Before we get to Siggy, I do want to venture into the independent film category because when we're lucky enough to have Adam on the podcast, when we invited him on, he was like, "Dude, I can talk about the struggle of short films, independent films, what the people don't really know."
That's exactly what I said.
What's
Almost verbatim.
Well, I'll pull out the text.
He
thread.
never expected he'd have to do it.
No, I was lucky enough when we met. We were doing
Perfect Citizens.
It was something called Perfect
Yeah,
Citizens.
I've actually seen the finished product
Have you?
from Mike. You remember the writer?
Are
Mike?
you serious? I
did another project for him, and he showed me on his laptop.
Oh, well, I would have loved to have seen it. It was a fun little.
How did Adam do?
I was just looking at me. I forget. I don't even.
I thought it
turned
was
out great.
It was
Well,
it was fun to work on. We got some decent money out of that little shoot. I thought.
Paid in cash at the end of each day. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it did.
I was like, I'll take it.
They're like, this is professional as hell.
How much you guys get?
$500
I think a day, yeah, 500
per
a
day. I think I got 7. Adam, you got.
Yeah, well, you had a larger
No, I'm just
role.
kidding.
But- well, if that was true, I would have. Hey, you.
No, actually they switched Adam and my
They
parts
did.
at the
After
we already
the
booked
read.
it.
Yeah.
Like, no, I see you more as this guy.
As the lesser, the less big.
How do you book an independent film?
I booked 27. I was in this film called 27 Club. It was a little horror film. It's on Amazon Prime now. You can watch it. Go to Amazon. Go watch it.
I watched the trailer. I was intrigued.
It's
What's it called? 27?
27 Club. It's based off of that whole silly Illuminati 27 curse. I don't know
Amy we don't know it. Amy Winehouse,
Kurt Cobain.
they all died at 27.
Yeah, is that Illuminati or is that just?
Well, it's like a thing.
Rock
Like if
and
you're,
roll.
well, I think it's if you're in the. I don't know. I don't even know what the word Illuminati means anymore. It's like a generic word for rich, powerful people.
Jay-Z and Beyonce run the Illuminati,
Okay, if that's the story.
and it's satanic worship. You didn't-
Well, that's what it's all connected to. It's like all these musicians have done some, deal with selling their soul, and so at one time you have to pay up, and I don't think if you do by 27 you die, or some mythology with that. My character was a musician I was a bass player in this.
Caleb,
yeah, I was like a bass player in the band. It was fun. I didn't play bass. So
yeah, why are all bass players named Caleb?
I don't know.
What is
that's a
up
good
with
question.
It's a ask Flea. I don't know, man. He'll be like, why is he in his name Flea? I should know that. I feel
But
like
how is an independent film, different, or what was your experience on that compared
Or
to?
how do you differentiate yourself? I still don't understand. I'm looking to do what you did. How did you what do I do? How do I make an impact?
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
How do I book it?
What separates what do you think you did differently that booked it? Did you study your lines really well? Or?
Well, no, I mean, I auditioned for it like anybody else. I was doing this girl named Tasha. It was a producer, I believe, on the thing we did.
Yes.
And and she was a producer on this project, and it was at the Cleopatra Records, which I guess they also do a lot of short films and like that type of grotesque horror type of stuff. So I read for it, and they liked it. And I was actually going to go to Colorado, I think, visit home for a second, which is where I'm from. And I ended up booking it, so I canceled that trip, and then I ended up filming the 27 Club, and that was a good, I shot like a couple days on that film. And
how many days total do you think it was? Like 3 weeks?
I think
2 weeks? Or was it
it was
sporadic?
it was sporadic. It was one of those
Gotcha.
type of things where I was needed one day, then I was needed 2 days in a row. I think in total maybe like 4 or 5 days I worked on that. And 2 of the scenes were cut, I think, too. So it's whatever. But no, that was a good. I booked it, and that was fun to do. And
And how was the audition? Like,
It was simple. I read for another role. That was another project where I was reading for something else, and then I went in and they liked me for a smaller role that they wrote more in for me.
Oh.
Yeah, that was nice. I think that's what happened. I believe.
Nice.
I could be lying, but the director Patrick, I believe that was the.
And is their goal to get distribution on that? What do you know?
I think that was their goal.
You never really know when you're just supporting. You're
Yeah,
like, they don't keep you in the loop.
No, but the film came out. It's on Amazon.
So they got it.
Yeah, they did it. So it's on Amazon now. You can watch it, rent it, or whatever, buy it. I think they have DVDs. And I think there's an album for it as well. I think they released like a record because it's through Cleopatra Records. So I think there's a record that goes with it.
Do you have a discount code for our audience?
No, I don't. I'm not that high up on the level of...
This is just joking around.
Moving on. I'm just kidding.
Dude, what do you think about puppets with catchphrases?
What do you mean?
Like
Like
do
who?
Like Jeff Dunham has like the
I kill you.
catchphrases for his puppet.
Oh, like those guys. I don't know. Catchphrases are always
Hack.
nice, right? If anything is good enough to become a catchphrase, that must be fun,
And
right?
I think it's a fine line with comedy. You're walking that line. You ever seen the hamburger guy? The hamburger
Oh,
stand-up
yeah,
comedian?
yeah.
Hamburger. No, he does the.
No,
he
no,
does
no.
it-
Oh, hamburger.
Hamburger.
That's what you mean.
So
Yeah,
he's also got like a
hamburger.
big 10-gallon hat, and he's black.
Or like
he's got a lot of gimmicks.
Well, just like the gimmick in general, like what's his name, Gallagher with his
Watermelon.
smashing shit, the watermelon. Was it specifically watermelons?
actually,
Or
I
did
think
he
it was
do-
all fruit.
was it all different
But the
types of
biggest
things?
ones were what's remembered.
That overshadowed his career. He was like a Carlin. Like he wrote out monologues.
Gallagher and Garland. That's a crazy
No,
comparison.
you ask
there.
Gallagher, and that's what he says. There's a really good interview with him on Howard Stern.
Hey, great for Gallagher. Is he? I don't know if he's still alive.
He's
or
doing
not.
state fairs somewhere.
Oh well, then there you go. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Is he dead?
When we do talk to Ziggy, is it?
I'm
Because
worried.
usually
I'm worried about it.
I'm worried that the conversation will just drop and we're not going to know what to talk to him about.
Tell us about him a little bit.
Yeah.
What how would
Oh yeah. I mean, if
how
you
would he
guys-
describe himself in a dating app?
on a dating app?
What's he like?
This guy's been in a
If
relationship
you like,
for years.
if
He
you
doesn't-
like hair, if you like a good time, if you don't mind getting some fuzzy shit in your throat, I think you'll be.
Is it true Siggy's favorite sex position is up the ass?
That's it. Yeah, he's pretty fond of a little bit of playback there.
That's understandable.
Oh yeah, and he's got a little bit of some ponytail, so he likes that pulled on.
Oh,
Has your puppet ever bombed in a club?
Yeah, yes.
by
How
definition.
how does that work? has your puppet ever got a laugh in the club?
No,
No, obviously.
it really depends on.
Obviously, you mostly get laughs,
I-
but I want to hear about the times where, so what happens, dude, if you're bombing and you have to go through a puppet?
Well, the puppet's good because he can interact with the people, and it kind of distracts.
But he says things that you couldn't say. Like he calls people, "Oh, you fat," whatever.
If
And
there is
word.
one, yeah. Well, I know. I won't say like.
We're not Kramer.
I won't go off and.
No,
I won't go off and say like truly offensive things.
your puppet's not blindly racist. I mean, he didn't choose to be on Seinfeld. So
Well, yeah,
I guess
man.
he's-
But you know what's interesting? When you made that little joke, does he ever get a laugh? I saw Adam. He's gotten those jokes his whole career with that puppet. Is it looked down upon a little bit?
Excuse me, I hate the fact you put it on me because I said, "Does your puppet ever bomb?" And then this guy starts, "Oh, no, and I finished your sentence."
All right. Well, I'm.
Yeah, I mean,
projecting.
sometimes people don't get it, and I think sometimes more it's people that are confused, as in like they're seeing somebody with a
Wait,
puppet.
what did you see in Adam's face? I don't.
Nah. Well, he was just like, I've gotten this before. Let's, I really just wanted to ask the question. I didn't see anything. Adam took it like a champ.
I mean, there must be. I don't mean to I'm super excited to talk to the puppet, but there must be
Ziggy.
yeah, the monster. There must be something that I don't know. I feel Jeff Dunham. People already think they know what to expect with Jeff Dunham. That's how I feel.
Well, I think Ziggy, the difference between him and myself is that he is his own person. He's his own thing. So he wants to be a stand-up.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to. That's what he wants his career to be.
Fozzie Bear.
Yeah, he doesn't. No, he wants to be like.
Does he like to?
I think he wants to be like Richard Pryor or anybody else that's just as big as anybody, and he just happens to be a monster.
Does he like to?
Some people don't like monsters. Some people had them under their beds for years. Some people don't like them in their closets. He's come out of the closet many times.
Whoa.
He's
congratulations.
and it doesn't necessarily is nothing sexual.
Oh, okay.
He just happens to get sick of living in people's closets.
I think we've teased it long enough.
Yeah.
But I want to encourage this. I want to encourage. Let's go for a real conversation with Siggy. Let's
He
not
also
wait for
has
the
troubles.
jokes.
He has troubles.
Let's go for a real conversation and talk to him
He
about his.
dates.
Is the puppet going to be on this side or that side?
He could be on whatever side you want him to be on.
You should stay on this side, and then the puppet can be here.
He can be on whatever side you need him to be on.
Right.
You want me to get him?
I guess.
We would love
I
it.
guess we're doing
Siggy,
this.
come in the room, please.
Where did I get him?
Right here, buddy.
Did I come in?
Oh, right in the mic, Sig. Right in the mic.
Yeah. We're gonna.
There's wires in the way.
Oh,
There's wires in the way.
well,
All right, I'll hold the mic up to.
It's fine.
You got it?
I got it.
okay.
How you guys doing?
Hey, for those who are just listening to this, feel free to head on over to YouTube and you can see this puppet. Hey, what's up, Sig?
I'm doing good, man. How you guys doing? It's good to be on Surviving Hollywood.
Oh my God, so great to have you, man. What are you, dude?
I'm a monster. I was born a monster, and I've always been a monster.
Did you get made fun of for that? You know, living in a human world. I mean,
Is that a race or is that
It's
like
a race.
Okay.
We consider it a race. It's still not on the, a lot of things at the driver's license, the DMV. They don't put it down. It's confusing. They ask ethnicity. I just put other.
do you kind of get peeved when you see Oscar so white? It's like Oscar so human.
Well, he lives in a fucking trash can. I live in an apartment.
Oh,
So I think I already got to step up on the guy. Just saying.
You look kind of
Hey.
like Oscar the Grouch, though.
Well, thank you. I mean, he's a rather good-looking guy. He's dirty, but I try to
Ooh.
keep myself looking nice.
Now, you said monster is a race. What are
Yeah.
the almost unsayable slurs that you get? Because that's like
People call me Monies. They call me dirty child looker. They call me bed hider.
dirty
They call
child.
me faggot.
ooh,
Dirty
whoa.
child looker and faggot is what they call you.
Well, that's just not a word just for the homosexual community. It works for monsters too. It happens.
It's not my word.
It's on the table is it's all I'm trying to say.
I don't think anybody should call anybody any sort of derogatory
I don't
words.
think so either.
I think, but if you had to, I think.
But if I had to, I'd call them bastards. And
well, I was gonna say.
I like the word wop.
Why do you
Dude,
like?
what if he just says?
Why
Like,
do you
I'm
like
afraid he's
WAP?
gonna say like the N word on the show or something.
I'm not gonna say
All right.
the N word,
Good.
but I will say wop because I am Italian.
And what is a WAP for our audience at home?
Let's move on. Let's move on from these.
Okay,
I want to have an audience, you bastards. I don't want to lose them.
that's
Yeah.
fair. Do you,
Yeah.
Siggy? Do you dye your hair or is that natural?
This is all natural.
It's pink.
Yeah.
I like it.
Thanks.
Like
You dye your hair?
It's all natural, baby.
Oh, now I'm natural. How I like
yeah.
it. Yeah.
so you don't when you're like doing a comedy thing with the other guy, you don't mind like him letting you take the lead and you really calling
He's
out.
got nothing to say. He's got nothing to say. I say everything.
But you fight his battles for him, correct?
Well, I mean, legally, yeah.
You're
Legally, yeah.
You have power of attorney.
Yeah.
Guardian.
I have, he's just an actor. I went to school for law.
Did you?
Yeah.
What kind of law?
With the subsection of law, it's a monster law. You can study it online on Phoenix University,
It's not too late.
Grand Canyon.
And what kept you from practicing?
Well, you get distracted. Drugs,
What kind of drugs?
they always come into play. I'm a big fan of Sudafed. Any kind of over-the-counters.
So is Trump, right?
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah, you don't have to ask me about Trump. Now, that guy's a monster. That is a monster.
He's one of you.
Oh, yeah. He's paving the way for us.
Well, he's doing a lot of good things, don't you think?
Well, for the monster community, how many monster presidents have you heard of?
You're right.
Trump's a pretty big monster.
Polk?
But like that, like,
Hulk?
like,
Maybe Garfield.
but like,
I
but
think he was a monster, too.
but you like Trump, right?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to see a monster in the White House, but
it's
I
not-
wouldn't vote for him again. I'm all about Sanders.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think what he's doing is pretty good.
Colonel.
Yeah,
No. Yeah.
Bernie.
yeah.
I like Bernie Sanders, but he's not building the wall.
Well, I don't think we need a wall.
Okay, I would like to hear more about your relationship with Adam.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, for sure.
How do you guys sleep in the same room?
Well, how would you define your relationship with him? Besides just the fact you're his guardian
And can we talk to Adam, you two at the same time, or we can't? Or no?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't recommend it.
All right.
This is not a magician. This is a puppeteer.
He's taking a break.
So do you like Adam?
Yeah, he's a good guy. Hard to live with sometimes.
Why is that?
He touches himself a bit.
In what way?
When
If
you're...
you don't know, I don't want to have to explain it to you.
Okay.
But like-
I don't wanna.
But like, let me paint the picture. Sometimes he's practicing long hours with his puppet on his hand. Then all of
Yeah.
a sudden he gets an urge and he forgets to take the monster off.
Sometimes I can get sore if that's what you're talking about.
But you like it because you're pleasing him. Well, we'll never say.
Well,
All right.
some things are personal.
Um,
Some things are private.
Speaking of personal, Adam has a girlfriend. Do you ever date?
Well, sometimes it can get lonely.
So what do you do?
I usually call up Sofia Vergara, but she got married, so she doesn't take my calls anymore.
She's a puppet girl.
She's in all type of things, girl.
Ooh.
Trust me there.
How much did being John Malkovich, how much did that further the industry of puppeteering, do you think? Have you seen the movie?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I would say that
I'd say it really made it an art form.
it puts it into a different perspective.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Because at the end of the movie, John Malkovich and other characters, John Malkovich decides that he's going to give up acting and just concentrate on making puppeteering an art, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if that's how you want to view that movie, there's a lot of ways to view Sophie's Choice too. But you can view whatever way you want.
Okay.
Let's take it down a little bit. I almost feel like we're yelling at each other, Siggy. Is there a grinder for puppets or monsters?
Why does
or?
everything have to be sexual with this guy?
Oh, just ask about dating.
I love a racist puppet as much as the next guy, but
Okay. Well, I was trying to get to know him. You can ask him a
We
question.
go on Minder.
That's nice.
It's the same thing. You just put, instead of the G, you make it an M for monsters. It's pretty generic. It's pretty much the same thing.
Siggy, is it tough finding a human, in the surviving Hollywood world? If you're in this town and there's a monster that needs a human, how tough is that?
It can be tough. I am lucky enough where I was made by a girl named Sarah. I lived under her bed for a long time.
Scary.
Well, she's a good gal, and I'm very protective of her. And she's grown up now, but, we get by. Get by.
Was Lamb Chop a girl puppet or a boy puppet?
Either way, I fucked it.
That's basically
All
what I was
right, well,
asking.
that's how I'm going to leave you guys, all right?
Siggy.
All right,
It was a
take it
pleasure
easy.
to meet you,
It was
man.
a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, that's
It was a
awesome.
pleasure.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Sig.
All right.
Dude, it was
Take
so
Hey,
cool to meet you.
Tell Adam to get back here.
I feel
All
like
right, I'll go get him.
I'm going to just have a million questions once you leave.
Hey guys,
Oh,
what's happening?
Dude,
Adam's
where'd you
still
go?
here.
I disappeared.
Dude, Siggy was just here.
Yeah, he's gone now. He had to go.
He left. He was funny.
He let us know right away he's not going to be politically correct.
Well, you guys, you asked him some stuff, man. I don't know what to tell you.
How's that different than what you guys talk about on stage?
Well, to be
Or
honest,
do you have an act or do you riff?
it's a lot of riffing with him, as I'm sure you guys can see
Well,
hanging out with him.
well, he's clearly not going to just act
He
with us,
likes
That's what I'm
he
wondering.
likes to riff, but no, I mean, there's some things that he definitely will talk about. Thank you. There's some things that I talk about with him. Mostly, sometimes I'll try to keep it also topical. If there's something in the media, then that catches pretty well.
Interesting. And what was the Mr. Potato Head comedian that did crowd work? What's his name?
Oh, Don Rickles?
Exactly. So is it? Do you do crowd work?
Yeah, it's a lot of to be honest, it's a lot of picking on people in the crowds, and usually they give you conversations back.
Have you ever called somebody or has the puppet ever called somebody the F word?
Like to say you fucker or a cunt or something?
No,
yeah.
I meant like the F-A-G.
Oh, like a fag or something?
Whoa,
like that?
whoa, come on.
You guys really are whoosh on that word.
I'm
found
not
it-
offended.
I just found it funny.
Dude,
like,
like,
you were making up all these derogatory words, and then you just said faggot, along with
That's the-
money and child, whatever, faggot.
but guys, can we say that word in 2020? I mean,
Siggy,
listen,
look,
Adam,
Siggy dates a lot of types of people. He likes to be called a lot of types of things.
but
I've been called that in my life.
I'm not offended, but do you think it's good for your acting career to have a puppet that says the a derogatory word for a gay person.
Maybe not. Maybe it would. Maybe if this is ever seen online, I won't get work because.
And this podcast doesn't support that, and we're not offended by it.
You can say anything on this podcast.
But we're just.
But I don't make it a habit of going out and.
It's the New York side of you, dude.
Picking on anybody.
That was the name of your hour, though.
Yeah, that is what the first Ziggy album is called. It's just faggot.
Wow. Where can we see you?
I don't know if we should. I don't want our podcast to get pulled off of all our sponsors to go.
Yeah.
It's not.
We don't have any.
There's nothing. It's not at anybody. Come on.
Aaron's just
No, dude,
Aaron's making conversation. He
I'm
doesn't
not.
really
I'm
care.
not offended by it. I'm just surprised. Like everybody's like not getting scared. Like people aren't scared of getting thrown out of the industry.
Well, they might be. Didn't that poor guy on SNL get because of this
exactly.
exact situation? So
Yeah,
if you edit this out, maybe.
Well, he was making fun of an Asian person.
Yeah, he said something else.
I'm not. When Ziggy says stuff like that, or if he says anything like that, or it's not to anything specifically. I guess.
Right. We'll give it the puppet pass.
Yeah.
The PP.
Sure.
I'll give him the PP.
The puppet pass. Give me your PP.
So I guess if our audience wanted to find you and see you perform, they would have to research Adam Celentano.
Yeah.
Dude, we're on a first name basis. That's
right now with Ziggy, I go out and do this Ziggy Monster.
Okay, it's just him on the bill, or it's both of you.
That's him.
Adam's in the way back.
Yeah, I'm not there.
They won't let Adam in the club, but Ziggy's up on
I'm
stage.
not there. I usually don't. If he's gonna go to the club, I'm him the whole time. And so I don't
really
have,
the whole time.
Yeah. Well, I
Even
mean,
back-
unless I gotta get a drink or something,
But
you know,
like
I gotta have to go to the bathroom. It's like
But even like the hour you're there just chilling, waiting to go up, you're him.
I usually try to be. Yeah.
Wow.
It could be tough on the arm, but it's all right, man. But that's what I'm saying. How people sometimes don't get it. Like when he's here with you, as you guys can see, you try to get him to engage you.
And like the whole, like an hour before Adam had to shoot his first scene on that short, was he the character an hour before?
No, the puppet wasn't there.
No, I mean in his for an actor, like was he his character?
There's a lot of
Is
downtime.
that just your method?
We had a lot of downtime on that one.
The cool thing about that project is we all played regular people, meaning like versions of ourselves, and Adam character was the jokester.
Was what I guess if you want to call that
right?
character.
It was
that.
originally me.
Yeah, I guess.
And then they made me the hero's best friend, and you got all the jokes.
I did. I never saw it, so you would know more than I would.
Yeah, the problem is that what was the director's name?
Of that
Angela.
GM.
But that was Angela and
I don't remember.
Oh my god! Hey, Steven.
Oh.
Yeah, he's still trying to sell Unbelievable. I hear, which like puts that what Unbelievable that has puppets in there. That has puppets in there.
I remember that
with all the Star Trek people. So it's been years, but they're still trying to sell that. And so this one's on the back burner.
Well, with the Ziggy, at least, no, I just go out as him. And if I don't mean to offend anybody if I'm out there with him.
But that's comedy, baby. That's show business.
But like, once again, sometimes when you say that word, that's exactly why you say words like that with him. Because it gets exactly the reaction that you guys get, where it's like you say the nonsense, and then all of a sudden a puppet says faggot, or he can say something like, it could be like exactly, it could be cunt, or whatever harsh words like that. It seems to be a little bit more...
I would think
if only Kramer had brought a puppet that day.
I would think
maybe it would have gone differently, man.
I would think though it would make the puppet can say whatever you want more okay if you're there talking.
Yeah, if you're there going, hey, whoa, buddy.
If it's like a back and forth saying.
Well, like I said, it could be, but then that would just be, that'd just be me with a puppet. That's like that's the ventriloquist thing, and it's not the same. It's not. He goes out there, and when it's him out there, it's him. Like when you see Elmo, you don't think about the guy usually working Elmo
until you hear about him in the paper the next day.
Sad. I know. I hate that. It's always sad to bring that up.
Wait, what happened?
It's just child pornography,
child stuff. I don't think anything has ever been.
I'm against that.
Okay, that's good.
Well, good.
Hey, does Ziggy enjoy doing his act while you? Ziggy, while you drink a glass of water on stage?
No, I've never been able to do that. It's a little bit different.
Why are they always
He's enjoyed beer on stage, so he's had a little bit of
like
that.
Cookie Monster enjoys a cookie, and you see he just wastes it. There's kids starving in the world.
I know. I actually sometimes I feel bad about that, but Cookie Monster deserves his cookies. Fuck it.
Also, he's eating celery now, and nobody feels bad when that celery's wasted.
I think
Yeah,
he went
man.
back to cookies though.
They do it all.
Yeah, sometimes he gets a carrot in him, and sometimes he gets a cookie in him. Veggie Monster, he went for a second, got all green and stuff.
Adam, if I may, because this might be the only opportunity our audience is with us to hear me ask you this. What do you wish you knew when you started in the puppet game that like, oh man, I know this now, and maybe some young puppeteer out there, comedian puppeteer will be like, oh, interesting.
Well, I wish I knew when I was younger that you can do like Henson and stuff like that has a lot more like internships and stuff like that you could do. Like
At
you
colleges.
Yeah, I think you have to be a part, you have to be in school and stuff. And just in general, there's like that type of things that you can't do if you're not in school or something. So
Puppetry is an art form that goes back to like the Greeks and the Romans and thespian, right?
I don't know,
isn't
man. Now you're asking me
is
this
it?
type of.
Yeah.
It's been around for a long time though, as in like.
Oh, dude, I was serious.
Yeah,
It has been around.
But I wouldn't know. I said like I wish I did, but no. But as in
Adam thinks it was invented in 2002.
Yeah,
He picked up his
when I
first-
saw the Muppets movie, I was like, this shit's amazing. No, it's so good. But then right now, the thing that's cool about right now, I don't know if it's gonna work for me by any means.
It's gonna work for you, man.
But right now it seems to be there's like this nice nostalgia in the air of like everybody likes puppets again.
Back when America was great is what they're pining for.
Yeah, we're getting back to that.
Nostalgia for puppets or nostalgia for puppets people remember as children?
Well, maybe, I don't know, maybe both. I think Disney has a show coming out that's going to be on Disney Plus, I believe. That's a talk show with an alien who's I think is going to be with Henson. That's a big puppeteering thing with that. I don't know if that might be animatronic. I'm not sure, but I think that's a big thing coming out. Muppets are going to have another short form show, I believe, on Disney Plus.
Howard Stern has only added puppets over the years. If you watch the Howard Stern show,
Well, I've seen I've watched some interviews.
It used to be one or two puppets. Now he has puppets for everybody.
Well, and then Crank Yankers came back on Comedy Central, I believe.
Dude, are people gonna watch? I don't watch.
Adam
the first-
Carolla's family is.
I just feel like that can all be found on YouTube now, and Crank Yankers was so good because we didn't have a YouTube. And
No, exactly. And I adore Crank Yankers, by the way. So I think that the show's good. I mean, I think
it's going to be their finest hour, buddy.
I hope
well,
so.
and then like I said, in Back to Dark Crystal that came out. So that was really well done.
Do you know that, Aaron?
Do I know?
Dark Crystal.
I've never seen it.
Okay, yeah.
Dark Crystal.
He mentioned it earlier. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dark Crystal was like a movie Henson did back in, I believe I forget when the original came out, but it was a movie. It was all done with puppeteering. It was like a big fantasy film. It was supposed to take Henson into like more of not as a child, not so childish direction, I guess, like more for the adult market. It's a big fantasy thing, and they did a TV show on Netflix that was a prequel to the movie that they ended up coming out. It's fantastic. It's amazing. The puppetry is great. All these great actors are in it. But no, it's really good, and the show on Netflix is beautifully done.
And
there was that movie a couple years ago that bombed.
Yeah,
but that looked kind of different.
It was with Melissa McCarthy.
Yes, exactly.
And
that was like 1 year ago.
Like it looked like it was
did not do well.
But it looked like it was kind of different. Like, why can't we have more of that stuff?
Like a gritty version of.
Well, yeah, exactly, and that's what I'm trying to go for with this Ziggy stuff. And
Tell us about that.
Well,
you have your own project.
Yeah, there's a show that I'm developing right now, which stars Ziggy in it, and he lives with Sarah. He mentioned, I believe, did he tell you guys about her before? Did he talk about
Sarah's
her?
such a common name.
Well, he lives with this girl named Sarah that he like created him, and so he lives there under her bed. And he still to this day, sometimes he's not with me. I know Ziggy's with Sarah under her bed and stuff like that. And they have a close relationship, I know. And they live in have you guys heard of it? It's called Fuzzy Palace. It's a monster human living facility. Yeah, it's a monsters and humans live there together. And I know that's where he stays most of the time.
Population what?
Well, I know there's a lot of puppets and people that live there.
And you go to like the Miss Piggy Express plane, and then
there's monsters that go in that building, man, and they live with their people. So
unsegregated.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a show that we're working on. It's called Fuzzy Palace, and
that's cool.
It's a apartment complex where people live sometimes with their monsters that they've had from childhood, and they've grown up with them, and sometimes they have not gone away. Sometimes they've moved to Scottsdale. Sometimes it's things like that.
I'm surprised, your monster didn't do more like twin jokes. I would expect as soon as right off the
I didn't
gate-
want.
It's not gonna go for the
I'm not
obvious.
go for the easy. You're looking like.
And I appreciate
Am I
that.
seeing double?
I appreciate it.
And
Yeah.
what is your show called? Do you have a title here?
Yeah, it's called Fuzzy Palace.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and so there's this. It's
And how do you pick? Like, you're writing
right now we're developing it. It's me and the designer of the puppets, Rachel Sandoval, and then there's a beautiful young actress named Gabriela Garcia who is involved as well.
You met her at Groundlings.
No, I've known her for a long time, all the way back since I went to AMDA. And she did a puppetry, some puppetry tour that she did. I think it was, I can't remember if it was all with shadow puppetry but there was this tour she went on. That was,
Shadow puppets.
well, no, it was an intense.
whole-
It was a theatrical
Subverting the
experience.
genre.
Yeah, that's even crazier. But she did. I don't know if it was just with that stuff. To be honest, I don't know enough about it to tell you. But she did this tour that caught my eye. That was this big kind of puppetry thing, and I just kind of brought the thing upon her, and I think it kind of all started meshing together.
And I know you're not there yet, but is your plan to film one episode, film all the episodes, and then pitch that, or submit it to festivals?
What I'm
or
looking
what?
to do right now, without revealing too much to anybody, is like
okay.
we'd like to film maybe like the first episode, and maybe chop that up, and maybe make that into a little bits of released web series wise. You know what I'm saying? Maybe film the first full pilot and break it down into pieces, or just maybe start with some trailers but I know the script is done for at least half of a season, each over 21 pages or so. So it really depends to break those down and then how to move forward from there.
But is it so you're just going to release it and hope it catches on? Or
Well,
will you
I'm
cold call?
hoping to be able to pitch it somewhere, but like I said, it's still in the early stages, especially with Ziggy and stuff.
You should have the puppet make the phone calls.
Hey, if he shows up to Netflix just at the desk, just like pop up over the thing. I don't know, man. But the dream is like, I'd love to get it to like, it'd be cool to like an Adult Swim type of thing or a Comedy Central.
Adult Swim, you got to take those episodes down to 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, they got some short run times. So it's like, I think that's kind of what I'm going for with it.
And there's something about just speaking through a puppet that just really lets you shine.
I don't know. Maybe.
Let's not dissect.
Like when you put the puppet on, it's like, hold on, buddy, because now
it's like Daniel Day-Lewis.
Well, it's
Putting
just
on
when you put, it's like kind of you just kind of.
it's like you get into like a flow state. That's what I'm wondering, or it's like.
Well, when I put on, when I try to.
Well, you know that Oscar Wilde quote? Man is only his truest self when he puts on a mask.
No, we don't know that one.
I love it though.
Something like that.
I like it.
I'd love meeting the puppet. I would love to come and see you at a show.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you guys know when the next thing is. I'm gonna try to do the Hollywood Hotel 1 or 2 more times with him. That's a great, like I said, that's a great spot. Any comics?
You have to buy a room.
Cheap room or
Well, I don't think I think there might be a drink minimum, but I think that might be a
That's
free
fair.
set.
That's
what you want.
Yeah,
So
so
you
I
don't
think,
have to tell me twice.
yeah, so I think it's decent, and even for the comics, you don't have to pay for your set. I believe it's all like one drink. If I'm correct, I could be wrong. But then like the haha, you do have to pay to do like a set there and stuff. So I'll probably do there again. But the goal is I'm going to get him to the Comedy Store soon. I've been kind of putting it off with him.
Well, that's the hardest spot.
It's the hardest spot to get so it's kind of like.
Well, might as well build up your kind of chops.
Yeah, you'd hope. But the thing about the Comedy Store though is that is a place to also, I think, a good place to test some material out, even though
you
it's
just go 15 minutes usually.
Well, I mean, it's a hard room either way. If you get up there for the open mic, if you get up there for the open mic at all,
Hey, Tony Hinchcliffe does that podcast. You know what I'm talking about? Where
You just go up on
Monday
stage in
night.
like 90 seconds or something.
yeah, everybody that's in the audience puts their name in a hat, and he just straws at his podcast.
I've never
But
seen.
like
that.
it's like everybody watches and listens to the Tony Hinchcliffe podcast, so you can like people would watch you, but you only have like 30 or 90 seconds to do a joke, and then like Bill Burr and like him and other people, whoever's got, will like critique it basically, and they could roast you. They could roast you.
it'd be fair.
It's
if
all
one
fair.
Did bad.
It's all fair, baby.
That sounds cool. That
Adam,
sounds cool.
where can our audience find you?
You can find I release stuff for my comedy and through any acting stuff I do on my Instagram too. You can check out there's some Ziggy clips on there and some cartoon stuff there on Adam Celentano or Ziggy Monster. It says /Ziggy Monster. And yeah, so that's why I guess I'm kind of releasing just everything through there. I don't do Twitter or any face.
By choice.
Yeah.
Do you have a Patreon?
No, but I'm thinking about starting. Some chicks are making some money on that page. I'm thinking about selling my images of my body.
Oh, whoa, okay. Whoa,
I don't
I was
think
in.
that's
Let's not act like we don't know what Patreon is for most of the time.
I thought it was for content creators.
Hey.
Yeah. Yeah, sure thing.
Dude, I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, me too, man.
Thanks, man. I
Awesome.
appreciate you guys for having me.
Please
Yeah.
come again.
Ziggy would come back anytime, and there'll be more. I'm sure we can talk more.
I think you're better than Jeff Dunham. I'll say it right here.
Oh, man, Jeff.
Final thoughts.
Coming at you, Jeff. Coming to Vegas, Jeff.
Yeah.
See ya.